Many people use social media nowadays. At least 90% of people in our school use social media. They're always on their phone during the class and lunchtime. It's most likely every day when I see people using social media. They never get sick of using them even though they stay up all night. But the reality is, 64% of Canadians have a social networking profile. Over 50% of Canadians are registered to more than one social media platform. Almost 70% of internet users said they were regular social media users, logging on at least once a month.
I use social media to message my friends and also to look at people's posts on Instagram. And just if I'm having fun, it's just a good way to kill some time.
For us to communicate with my friends and watch videos like on Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, and yeah, that's pretty much
Social
it.
media mainly for texting my friends and just know what's going on in like my friends' life and like siblings, family, and friends around the world, I guess.
I use the only social media I really use is Twitter. I use it for communicating information about the swimming championships that I'm convener of for OFSA provincially. I also use it for entertainment, following different comedians and also somewhat for political purposes, following opinions of different political groups and news organizations and that kind of thing.
People use social media mainly with mobile app. They use a variety of platforms including Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and their use of these platforms has increased over the past year. People use several social media channels more in 2018 than they did in 2017, including YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook. Less than 20% of people used them more in 2017.
I use social media every day, sometimes multiple times a day, because I'm kind of addicted to social media because it's fun to do with your friends, which I don't have.
Every day I use social media more than I think I should.
I'd have to say I use social media around 4 hours a day.
I use social media every day, probably around like 5 to 6 hours a day.
Social media is ingrained in people's everyday lives. Nearly all use it daily. 86% of people use social media at least once per day, including 72% who use it multiple times per day. People access multiple social media channels regularly. Most use Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at least once per week. Other popular channels include Snapchat, Pinterest, and Twitter.
Does it affect me mentally? I don't know. I guess there's some gratification that comes from it, where you're gratification, that comes from it being like, you get like text your friends, you can message them, whatever the case. You also get like gratification from like stuff like, just hanging out with them, or like, what else? Like posting, you can, you get likes, whatever that is, comments. Those things are, a nice booster, I guess.
Social media sometimes affects me in a positive way mentally because I see like motivational posts on Instagram or something because I follow those motivational accounts, so I feel good when I see those posts. But sometimes social media makes me feel bad if somebody's doing something really cool and it's not me, right? So then I feel really jealous.
Social media affects my mental health negatively because I use it all the time and it just distracts me from other things, as well as at night it affects my sleep schedule, which affects my daily routines.
Social media keeps me up at night just because I go on one app and then I don't realize how long I'm on it for. So then it just progresses for it being a longer time than I should be on it.
I think a lot of what I read on social media makes me feel, I don't know, kind of sad or discouraged about our society. Like in the past, the Canadian election campaign, I was really discouraged at how much negative information there was on Twitter, kind of pointing out the problems with other candidates, as opposed to being used to really convey information about what parties do. I guess, for lack of a better word, it's a lot of sniping or trolling that is just it's really kind of depressing in many respects.
Too much time spent on social media negatively affects our mental health. For example, many of us are guilty of spending far too much time trying to take the perfect photo of a visual marvel, all the while not actually absorbing the first-hand experience of witnessing it with our own two eyes. We get addicted to social media and devoting so much time and effort that it impairs other important life areas. It also affects our sleep schedule. For example, going on social media before we go to bed can negatively affect the quality of our sleep.
Yeah, it's like if socializing in real life is hard, but socializing online is easy, you're gonna want to socialize more online than in person, right? So I think probably the solution is to meet people in person and talk to them and get used to like feeling good about socializing in person again, right? And if you feel like insecure about something or something, you like try not to just stay behind your screen where you're safe. Try to like push yourself out of your comfort zone and like still meet people in real life, right? Bring back like the traditional sort of socializing. I think there is a solution, honestly. It's just like be real online and be real in person.
To minimize the negative effects of social media, there are many things you can do. So the first thing that's probably the most simple is just not to use social media as often. If you don't use it as often, obviously you won't be exposed to the negative impacts of social media. Second thing you could do, to minimize the negative impacts of social media, is to associate yourself with more positive Instagram accounts or like other social media accounts. So if you're always interacting with positive accounts that make you feel good, then you won't feel as negative, and social media won't have as much of a negative connotation placed around it. Perfect, right?
Ways to reduce the negative impacts of social media would be, I would say the main one is just to use it less. And that's, yeah.
I guess the more time you're on it, it affects you negatively. So I guess if you just use it less and spend more time with friends or occupy yourself with other things, yeah, I think that's the solution.
Reflecting on how often we're checking social media or the amount of time we spend on social apps can help us understand if it's getting in the way of our day-to-day activities. If you find that you prefer social media over more direct forms of communication, it might be time to adjust your habits.